All right, Falcon and Winter Soldier fans, I'm going to do both episode 3 and 4 in one review. So I feel like it's the appropriate method because I feel like both of these episodes, they didn't have a lot of action, but I did enjoy the action we did get. To be completely honest, I really like the character moments more than the flashy explosions and fight scenes. Not to say I don't enjoy them, but I feel like the character interactions and whatnot mean a lot to me personally. So I know the episode 3 review was late, plus I was at home Easter weekend, so I really didn't do much recording. And episode 4, my goodness, these were some good episodes, guys. So strap yourselves in. Like I said, I want to just talk about both episodes together. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon, and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And please hit subscribe. So at the beginning, I'm sorry, episode 3 just was hilarious. I mean, from the reunion, if you will, between Bucky and Zemo to Bucky explaining to Sam a hypothetical about how Zemo could be let out of prison. Great. But before that, we got the new Captain America, John Walker, busting into the same place that was actually housing the Flag Smashers in episode 2. He just burst in there, with the GRC, just like, hey, you house the Flag Smashers. Where is Carly? This person doesn't give a damn. And that's the thing between episodes 3 and 4. John just walks in as Captain America and assumes everybody's going to respect him. Hey, do you know who I am? Captain America, John Walker. Nobody gives a crap. The Dora Milaje, this random guy who gave refuge to the Flag Smashers, nobody gives a freak. They don't care. I mean, he spits in his face and literally says, I know who you are and I don't care. Man. All right. So from there, Bucky and Zemo and Sam, they pretty much kind of gear up because Zemo is the definition of, hey, I'm a Baron and I'm going to flaunt it. I saw so many great memes out of episode 3 in regards to the fact that, most bad guys or people who escape from jail, I got to lay low. Zemo, no, I'm going to put on my fancy clothes, get on my private jet. We're going to fly around the world. So we get to the point where Sam needs to pretend to be a villain named Smiling Tiger. Bucky needs to pretend he's the Winter Soldier again, and Zemo as well, Zemo, because they're going to, I cannot remember the name of the place that begins with an M, but they need to go to this crime city, if you will, this criminal underground to find information about the power broker, aka the source of the serum. And as a result, we get a fight scene, which, remember this, Bucky needs to be the Winter Soldier, so he's attacking people. And people are filming him doing this. And I believe rule number 2 was not to hurt people. Going back to his therapy sessions. And you see the point where they meet with this woman who's kind of like a powerful woman. Not the power broker, but she does have important intel. And unfortunately, and this is the part that got me, why the hell did Sam not have his phone on silent? Because his sister called him to talk about the whole situation about the bank loan. At first, I want to be pissed at the sister, but I'm like, no, I can't be pissed at her. She literally just called Sam. She had no idea who was going undercover in a criminal city. Sam should have cut the damn phone off. So basically, after she says, hey, I'll talk to you later, Sam, it's like, who the hell is Sam? Kill them all. She gets shot, and I'm like, that was probably Sharon Carter, because guess what? Sharon Carter actually shows up. Now, there are plenty of theories about whether or not she's the power broker. I don't know, but it was great to see her back. Emily Van Camp, she did a hell of a job. We're seeing this different version of her, and she's still attractive as hell, but I just love the fact that her dynamic is completely different from the more subdued roles we've seen her portray Sharon Carter as in, I believe she's only been in, 2 movies, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and I think she popped up as one of the people who was dusted at the beginning of Endgame. But basically, she's been on the run since Civil War, because remember in that movie, once she gave the shield and the wings to Steve and Sam, she had to go on the run because she was declared enemy of the state. And unfortunately, unlike the Avengers, she wasn't able to get pardons because, Sam's like, well, I'll see if we can help you out with that. I mean, look at this guy. He killed almost everybody he's ever met and he got a pardon. So maybe we could do the same thing for you if you help us find info on the power broker. Needless to say, there is the viral dance scene of like Zemo just kind of, fist bumping for like 3 seconds. And fans wanted more because Daniel Gruhl, I believe is the name, that the actor that portrays Zemo, he basically said there's an extended dance, but they had a few seconds on there. And they released a Zemo cut earlier this week, and I thought that was just hilarious. So thanks to Sharon, she was able to get the contact for the man, I forget his name, but I know he's in the comic books, the man who actually is recreating the serum in a way where people can just take these doses as opposed to being inside of a clunky machine like Steve Rogers. So he explains his backstory, how he got the formula, how he's recreating it. He actually got blipped. And after saying that, there were, 12 or 20 vials, but none of them were there, Carly actually stole them all. He gets shot by Zemo, and there was a bounty placed on their heads, Zemo, Sam, and Bucky, for the death of that woman that was giving the information. So there are bounty hunters everywhere. Sharon Carter was kicking ass, killing, just stabbing, shooting. And then somebody used a rocket launcher on the lab they were in, and the lab is destroyed, as well as the guy recreating the serum. He's dead. So Zemo slips away, fires a couple bullets on a pipeline, and, stops some people from killing the trio. And next thing you know, he gets a car and they drive off. Sharon actually gets an interesting vehicle to hop in, saying, we got a couple of problems. So by the end of the episode, they're trying to find a new way of finding out where the serum is, where Carly is. And on their way to an area Zemo's familiar with, there are a couple of beads on the ground. Bucky notices them, and they're from Wakanda. I believe Ayo, she's the name of the Dora Milaje warrior who actually appeared in Civil War. You might remember her as the woman who stepped up to Black Widow as she was blocking the car for T'Challa, and she's like, move or you will be moved. Oh gosh. And John Walker and Battlestar, they only had minor roles. They had a scene at the beginning of the episode where he got spit in the face, and then at the ending where they discover Zemo had broken out of jail, and it's like, okay, fine, Sam and Bucky playing dirty, we got to do the same thing, and the government won't care how we get the job done. So then we move into episode 7. Episode 4. And my goodness. So this episode was far less action, but I would say it had a bit less action, but this was definitely more exposition. We actually get a flashback to 6 years ago after the events of Civil War, and after Shuri had finished the, I guess you could say, the deletion of the mental controls within Bucky. And Ayo, she was reciting the words, and Bucky was crying because he was finally free. And just Sebastian Stan's acting, my goodness, he's going for that Emmy. So basically, she's pissed off because we helped you in Wakanda, yet the same man who set you up for murdering our king, our former king, you broke him out of jail? We need him for this. You got 8 hours. So pretty much after that, they go to like this, not an orphanage, but pretty much, a center for the displaced after the blip, because Zemo is familiar with this place. I think they're in Sokovia, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, I know Sokovia technically doesn't exist because in episode 3 he said, after the events of Age of Ultron, the land pretty much went to shit. Well, I do think in Civil War he said even before the Avengers got themselves involved, the country was just falling apart anyway. But basically, after the country had got blown up in the sky, the land itself was pretty much, divided up by neighboring countries and whatnot. Maybe Latveria was a factor in that. Dr. Doom, I don't know. But in any case, there's a memorial there. So he was saying that, I'm familiar with this place. Again, the reason he's wealthy is because his family was royalty. He was a baron after all. So they all look around this area trying to find, people, kids, adults, anyone who knows about, the Flag Smashers. And unfortunately, nobody's speaking up. But then Zemo goes full to catch a predator and offers some candy to a little girl in order to get information about the death of the quote-unquote mother of not the biological mother, but kind of like the caretaker of Carly and the other refugees, if you will. And she's the one who passed away, and they need to get info on the funeral because they can use that to find Carly. And after getting this information, John Walker, this new cap, he has the worst timing. He shows up, it's like, okay, we got a plan in place, but then Walker will come in and ruin everything. So they go to the location. Sam's like, hey, this is a funeral, innocent bystanders. Let me see if I can just talk her down. You got 10 minutes. So before 10 minutes are even up, because remember, as Sam said, look, I used to be a counselor working with, people who have finished their tours of duty, and we pretty much, I counsel them. So he's doing a great job. This was honestly my favorite scene of the episode. Sam and Carly just talking. Pretty much, Sam telling her, look, I know you think you're not a terrorist, but looking at all the things you're doing as an extremist, yeah, you're killing innocent people. Look, I rock with you. I know where you're coming from. I understand your fight, but the way you're going about it isn't the right way. So pretty much from there, Walker comes in, and just looking at his physical, like I mentioned in my video about what will happen to Walker next. Wyatt Russell does a great job with, just the way Walker just seems agitated, the way he kind of twitches, and even Bucky knows something's off with this guy. So he goes in, ruins the heart-to-heart between Sam and Carly, and Zemo actually escapes in the shuffle. He shoots Carly, discovers the serum, and stomps it all but one because of the fact that Walker hit him upside the head with the shield. I'm surprised Zemo isn't dead after that. And he takes the vial for himself. So Carly, escapes with her fellow team members, and unfortunately, there's no more leverage between them and the power broker. Hell, the power broker even chats them like, look, in your free time, you're trying to be freedom fighters, but if you don't get that serum to me, you're dead. They ain't really got a lot of options here. So going back to Sam, because he mentioned his sister when he was talking with Carly, she actually calls his sister and threatens her. You can tell that she didn't mean it, but she did it in order to arrange a one-on-one with Sam because she wants to know whether or not Sam is trustworthy, because until Walker came in, those two were really kind of connecting. And also the fact that there were a lot of great Zemo lines, like his dialogues about, how super soldiers shouldn't exist, whether or not Carly has any good left in her. It was some good stuff. But then Walker comes back again, threatens to take over the operation. I love how Sam's like, look, shield or not, the only thing you're running up in here is your mouth. Zemo proved to be more useful today than you did. We were actually in the midst of a good talk. You busted in and things escalated. So then when this dude tries to start something with Sam, a sphere just comes right in the middle of the room, and it's the Dora Milaje. Walker gets his ass kicked. When I tell you the second best scene of the episode, Bucky, we should do something. Looking strong, John, and he's getting his ass whooped, man. But also when the one girl, the same one, Ao, the same member who helped Bucky in the past, and the one who met up with him at the end of episode 3, she used some like PlayStation 2 controller cheat codes on his shoulder, and his arm fell off. And I'm like, what the? Bucky's face when this happened was priceless. And the sad part is, because at the end of the fight, they discover Zemo got away, and then they leave. Sam asked Bucky, did you know they could do that? He was like, no. And that's sad because when you think about it, thanks to Wakanda, they were able to rid the Hydra's programming on his mind. However, that one move she did to dismantle his arm, that's just another powerful people group who program Bucky in their own way. Like, yeah, you might have taken the programming out of my mind from Hydra, but you programmed this arm into my socket, and you know how to just, boom, with a couple of hits is off. So, yeah, obviously it's not as drastic as being brainwashed, but at the same time, just knowing that another person has that kind of control over you, that must, especially when it was her of all people who did it. So after that, Walker is completely dejected. It's like, they weren't even super soldiers. He got his ass kicked. I don't know what was worse, the fact that he got his ass kicked by non-super soldiers, the fact that he got his ass kicked by women, or the fact that he got his ass kicked by black women. Because remember, he was like, I'm John Walker, Captain America. They were like, okay. So yeah, it's like he really isn't living up to the mantle of Captain America, or he's just arrogant. He pretty much believes that just because he has that shield, just because he has a title, his very presence or name beams respect as soon as he enters a room. But that ain't really how it flies. Steve wasn't about flaunting, his title. He was about doing what was right. I mean, heck, another good line is like the door Melage don't have jurisdiction here. The door Melage has jurisdiction wherever we are. I'm like, oh shit. So basically, and another thing was when that one girl, she like threw the spear, right through kind of like the handle on the shield. So John was stuck for most of the fight. So when she took it out and the shield fell, and she did that kick move where she caught the shield, and the girl's like, just hand it back. He literally felt like a kid that got his ass kicked, and then, here's your toy. So it's interesting because I'm curious. I'm going to be honest here. Even if he had taken the serum before that fight, I don't think he would have had an easy go of it because of the fact that, number one, he was outnumbered, and number two, these are freaking warriors who know about coordinated fights. So I do feel like even if Walker had taken the serum, because remember, at this point, he had the serum. If he had taken that serum before bursting into the room to, get Zemo, I don't think it would have been as easy a fight as one would have you believe. Now, you could argue, well, looking at what happens later on in the episode, after he takes the serum, is, knocking the Flag Smashers around, who are also super soldiers. Keep in mind, to my knowledge, these individuals are just regular people who took the serum. They aren't really like trained fighters. They just happen to be really strong. Like, there's a difference between, somebody who has straight up power, but they don't have a lot of technique. Being able to just jump and punch and kick isn't the same as well coordinated attacks, So that's what I think. But in any case, we have a good talk between Walker and Lamar about, what it means to be a good soldier, whether or not the serum is something that they would take if they had it. And it just brings out a person's true self. If they're good, they turn out to be great. Or if they're bad, they turn out to be even worse. So, even though he took the serum off screen, I was always curious, like, he had that one vial. So, like, how much of it is necessary for a person to become a soldier? Like, are they able to split? Like, let's say if he split it with Lamar, because Lamar said, hells yeah, I would have taken that serum. I wonder if he split it 50-50, would they not be as powerful as an individual Flag Smasher by only taking half the serum? But I do feel like it would give them both a physical edge. But in any case, after Carly calls Sam's sister and threatens her in order to get a meeting with Sam, they meet up. Bucky comes along, even though she said she wanted a one-on-one. Mind you, before this meeting, she said, hey, we need to split them up, divide and conquer. Basically get Sam and Bucky away from Battlestar and Cap because they wanted to kill this new Captain America. So once Sharon actually calls with the location of John Walker, because the thing was, Sam asked Sharon, like, look, he keeps popping in on us. Let's keep tracking him. So Lamar gets abducted. He gets knocked out and tied up upstairs in another part of the building. And Walker got the serum. He's kicking ass. And then Sam's like, what did you do? They got Lamar. So they go in and fight. What's with all the knives? I thought that was pretty funny. And then also the fact that, Bucky was having his one-liners. Stay there. And when he caught that knife that I think like one person threw a knife, Walker blocked it with the shield, and it almost hit Bucky, but it got stuck in the wall. When Bucky took the knife, I literally got Winter Soldier vibes. The street fight that Steve had with Winter Soldier before he found out it was Bucky. When he spun the knife and threw it at the ground, I'm like, yep, straight up Winter Soldier. But when he saved Sam, when he got attacked from behind, well, he was about to get attacked from behind, one of the guys grabs Walker. Carly rushes in, jumps over a table and has a knife, getting ready to stab Walker in the chest. Battlestar comes in and tackles her, and when they both get back up, she hits him so hard he goes flying through the air, hits one of those stone pillars, and I believe he snaps his neck, and he dies. Everybody stops what they're doing. The Flag Smashers escape. Bucky and Sam go after him. Walker just pulls a straight up Batman, jumps out of a window, superhero landing, sees one of the Flag Smashers escaping. I believe it was the same one that had him held back, to get stabbed in the chest, but he runs after him, throws the shield a few times to keep him down. Where is she? Where is she? Literally, he went straight up Batman and publicly executes the guy while people have it on film. Shield covered in blood. Sam and Bucky catch up. Even Carly stops in the crowd's like, oh my God, and the episode ends. These are two great episodes. Again, they weren't as full of action as, like the opening 10 minutes of episode 1 or, the fights in episode 2. But either way, they had a lot of great character moments, and I can't believe there are only 2 episodes left. So let me know what you think of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I said, I apologize for episode 3 being late, so I decided to just put them together in one. Be sure to check out my other video where I talked about, what's going to happen to John Walker next. And yeah, just shout out to the actors. They're doing amazing in this show. Oh, and yeah, so make sure if you want to donate to the channel, you do so by hitting me up on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, I'll talk to you later.